Hey guys, just finished watching DC's Legend of Tomorrow, Season 2, Episode 13, Lost of the Land of the Lost. This episode was pretty cool. It was pretty cool seeing the whole thing with Rip and the changing with him and throughout the ending. I really liked the ending of this episode once they went into Rip's head and stuff like that. That was pretty cool seeing that. It was quite interesting seeing how things went on, went on in his head and stuff like that. Although there was a few times when Jax had a gun and Sarah didn't grab a gun just so that she could use her hand-to-hand combat, it was like, why just give her a gun or something like that, you know? It makes no sense why she wouldn't have taken a gun at all. I mean, have Firestorm knock it out of her hands or something like that, and then she can use her for fighting. But I don't know, I just think it would have made more sense for her to have a gun in that one situation. But other than that, it was quite cool seeing that. It was, I guess it was disappointing not seeing any of the Legion of Doom, but it was cool seeing how this is going to go from now on. And now with the Legion of Doom not knowing that Rip is now back to normal, back to the good side, back part of the Legends, helping the Legends stuff. What if they were to play on that and he remembers everything he did as evil Rip with the Legion of Doom? I think it's going to be interesting to see if they use that to their advantage and, have him pretend to be on their side only to just, so that they can use him and stuff like that. I think that would be an interesting way to do that and see how that goes and see if they do that in next week's episode, rather than hopefully they can do something like that rather than just Dawn going, just knowing that he's back, he's out of his control or something like that. Although maybe his futuristic technology might not be able to control him anymore or something like that. I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see how it goes and how Legion of Doom finds out that Rip is back, is no longer under their control. So it's gonna be cool to see how that goes with that. It's gonna be interesting to see when things go there. And it was interesting what Ray Palmer said to Nate and Amaya about how Vixen, he was on the Vixen show. If you watched the Vixen cartoon on CWC, you saw that he was on there with Black Canary, Green Arrow, and Flash. So he knows about Amaya's great granddaughter, and so if she doesn't have that, then Amaya doesn't save the Vixen from the TV show, the current timeline Vixen, who has also appeared live action on Arrow, won't be around and won't have been able to save so much, do all the stuff that saved, even that one episode of Arrow that she was in, so she won't be able to do that. So it's gonna be interesting to see how they continue on this storyline and how they play with that. Could Nate be the current Vixen's? I forget Mari's. Could Nate be Mari's grandfather or something like that? I think that could be interesting to see that, although I don't think they talk about that in the show, but it would be interesting to see if that turns out, if he turns out to be her grandfather. I gotta doubt it, just because I feel like her skin tone would be a little bit lighter if it was, or something like that, but it's gonna be interesting to see how they play with that, and how, how long does he go on thinking about that, and once, once Mari's grandfather, it's confusing. Once the older Vixen, finds out about all this, and she's like, oh yeah, damn it, I guess I can't, I have to go with you, or I can't hook up with you, or something like that. It's gonna be interesting to see how things continue on with that, and how things, and what her reaction is going to be to to this whole thing. It's gonna be quite interesting to see how that messes with timeline and stuff, and maybe does that involve, us picking up the other and having two Vixen on for next season. That'll be cool. I think it'd be quite interesting to see the two Vixens on in one show. I think it would be quite interesting to have a season of Legends with the grandfather and great grandfather in, but not just for like 1 or 2 episodes. I mean, you had Citizen Steel and his grandfather here, the two of them on the same episode, but only 1 episode here and there. I'd like to see the two grandfather and grandson, or granddaughter and grandmother, both on a full season of Legend of Tomorrow, not just a few episodes here and there. I think the whole season would make it a really good dynamic for the show. It's going to be quite interesting to see where that goes. It's also going to be interesting to see how things continue on, how we build up, because we're getting close to the musical crossover, which Martin Stein and John Barrowman there is going to be a part of for the Flash crossover, musical crossover, Supergirl duet. Although we don't, it's not clear whether or not Martin Stein from this show will actually be going over there, or if it'll just be kind of take place in someone's head or something like that, like this episode kind of did, and that's how we got two versions. There are two versions of Drax and stuff, of Jax. It's gonna be interesting to see how that goes on the Flash. See if we actually get this Martin on there. And does that mean that Victor Garber is gonna be on 2 shows in 1 week? That'll be quite interesting to see if they did that. And if they did, how much will he be on this show and how much will he be on the Flash musical crossover if he's singing on both those episodes? Now with John Barrowman, he hasn't been in every single episode of Legends, whereas Martin Stein has been. So it's gonna be interesting to see how that that kind of what's going to happen with that episode. But I think we still have another week, and then the weekend after that, we have 2 weeks before the actual musical crossover. So it's going to be interesting to see, like I said, if we still see Martin in this. In that episode, that week's episode of Legends and stuff, see how that works out. So it's going to be interesting to see where things go on from here. I definitely can't wait to see where things move on, and with the next week's episode, them taking it in space and stuff, and Apollo 13 and all that stuff. It's going to be quite fun to see where that goes. And I think we're kind of building up to the, the last episode of the season. I think it's going to be supposed to be episode 17. And if you've seen some of my other videos, you know that there's special guests supposed to be on that episode, so that's going to be fun to see where that is. I'm not going to spoil it in there if you don't want to know, but you can check out my channel there. I think one of the Mark Guggenheim actually tweeted out a photo a while back, so if you want to go check his Twitter account or check my videos out, you can check that out and see who's going to be part of the last episode, episode 17, which is going to be interesting to see how that built up to that. So it's going to be quite fun to see where things go, guys, with this. Definitely can't wait to see where things continue on. So let me know what you think, guys, about this episode of Legends of Tomorrow, Season 2, Episode 13, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, guys. Peace.